Okay, let me know.
I brought my thing that was a scam.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing these all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. It was. It makes it look like Lucinda sent it, but they
Yeah,
didn't.
this home warranty thing is 100% going to be garbage every time. We get these with WAFED's information all the time. And then
Yeah.
people call us and yell at us like, we don't have a mortgage, you're scamming me. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Like, the bank didn't come up with this.
We have another one. What was it? It was. They said that we needed to get. And you can throw it away.
I will take care of that for you. All right. All right, you guys. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about fraud, what it looks like, how to not become a victim, and if you are a victim, what your next steps are going to look like. So just a little bit about me. I've been working in retail banking for about 17 years now. I manage a branch of WAFED Bank on Eubank in Candelaria. I'm going to leave my business cards for you, and I'll talk about that at the end. I've become so desensitized to fraud that I don't often think to talk about it much with others that are victims, because not everyone wants to talk about being a victim, right? So this is a little bit, I volunteer for a local nonprofit, and I do the same type of financial literacy for them. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that to you today. So from a banking standpoint, if you ever become a victim of fraud, you can file a claim with your bank. The problem is that if you've authorized the money to come out of your account, it is no longer an unauthorized transaction. It is an authorized transaction by you, which is why the bank might give you some pushback when it comes to filing these claims. So I want to talk to you about how to not get to that point and some of the biggest scams that I am seeing. How many of you guys have gotten a phone call or a text message from a bank saying, oh, this is fraud, call us at this number? Yeah? I would say most of the time that's going to be fraud. Our fraud department, we will send out a text. We detected this purchase. Is this fraud, yes or no? That's as much as your fraud texts are ever going to give you. They're going to be for a specific transaction, and then you can reply yes or no. And then depending on how that bank is set up, you can reach out directly to your bank. But you're not going to do it through text message. And we're not going to say, call us at this phone number, right? If you receive a text message that says, call us here, it's going to be fraud every single time. If you get an email, these Amazon emails, I'll tell you, they look pretty convincing, yeah? If they say, click here to log in, don't click there to log in. Don't call the number provided in text or email. What you're going to do is you're going to pull up the Amazon app and get the customer service directly from there. If you don't have the Amazon app, Google Amazon customer service, or whatever company sent you that email, go into a separate page and look it up that way. Because those emails, they are massive phishing attempts, and so many people click on those links and it takes them to fraudulent sites. You log in using that link and your information is compromised. That's how your information gets out. So even if it's a legitimate email, I still don't click on the link. I will go through the Amazon app every single time, or the PayPal app, or whatever the case is. How many of you have gotten a text message saying that your account or your debit card has been locked, but it's from a bank that you do not bank at? Okay, 100% fraud. However, because fraud is on the rise, my best advice to you is to call that bank, Google US Eagle. That's the one I get all the time. Yes, US Eagle, or whomever is sending it. Google that institution and say, hey, I got a text message. I want to make sure that you don't have any accounts for me, right? But you want to make sure that you call the local number after looking it up. Don't call the number they provide. Don't email the email they provide. How many of you have gotten a phone call saying that your bank needs to verify your information? Has anyone gotten that one? 100% fraud. Being in banking, we will never call you and say, hey, we need your account number. Hey, give me your social security number. We don't do that. We're not allowed to do that. Even our fraud department is not going to say, well, you need to give me all your info. They will ask you identifying questions like, hey, date of birth, give me your transactions, what's the password on your account, not your PIN number, not your online password, but some banks do require a verbal password. We will not call you and ask you for that. So if you get a call from an institution, it's going to be fraud. Don't give out your personal information. If you have any questions like, oh, well, I bank with them, maybe it is them, hang up and call your local branch. Okay? That's what I would do. It's better to be safe than sorry, because these fraud schemers, they are getting so good. And here's the truth, is that it's the baby boomers that are being targeted the most, because this stuff is so convincing and everybody wants to be like, oh, it's so convenient, it's got to be real. It's not. Another huge one that I'm seeing, probably the biggest one, seems to be the foreign lottery. How many of you in here have won the foreign lottery? Right? 100% fraud. You're not going to win the foreign lottery. Okay? So if you get anything like that, or if you get a check in the mail, this is huge, guys. If you get a check sent via FedEx, you were not expecting it, and it's saying, oh, you won the foreign lottery. Take this to your bank, deposit it. We sent you $5,000 too much. Send that back to us and you can keep the rest. 100% fraud every single time. You'll know because the check comes in a FedEx envelope. At the bank, when I see people come in with a check in a FedEx envelope, my first question is, hey, were you expecting this? If you weren't expecting it, I'm not going to deposit that, okay? It's going to be fraud every single time. Any single letter or phone call you get that says, hey, I sent you too much money, just send me some back in gift cards or money orders, it's going to be fraud. You should never have to send money back, period. Ever, 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 ever. It's going to be fraud every single time. Another big one, Wyatt will like this one, we'll get his opinion. The IRS calling you, saying that you owe money. The IRS doesn't call you to say that you owe money. They send you a nice little letter notifying you. We have gotten the real letter saying that we owe money, right? So we know what that looks like. But the IRS, they ain't going to call you. I know Claudia mentioned something about a jury duty scam. If you miss jury duty, they ain't going to call you. You'll get the warrant in the mail, or you'll just be picked up by the police, right? They're not going to call you. So any company, organization, financial institution, we do not call you and ask you for your personal information. How many of you guys have received random texts from numbers that you don't recognize that are saying, oh, are you going to meet me at the mall tomorrow, or whatever that is? They're really crafty, because most people, like me, don't like to ignore people. I ignore those because I know better, because I'm around it. But those people are really crafty. They form a relationship with you, and they get you to send them money, saying that they're going to release finances for you. 100% that's going to be a scam every single solitary time. If you ever have to pay money to get money from someone you don't know, it's going to be fraud. As Wyatt will confirm, you don't have to pay pre-tax. That's not the way the government works. Right? So these are some of the most common fraud schemes that I'm seeing. I would say probably the biggest one is going to be the Microsoft Office alert that pops up on your computer. How many of you have seen that? Microsoft alert, you've got to call this number right away. You've been hacked. You're whatever. How many of you have seen that? 100% fraud. What happens, they're really convincing. I had to try to help a woman get like $15,000+ back from this. So what they do, I unfortunately could not, okay? What they do is they give you a number to call, right? You call this number, and they're so convincing. They know where you bank. These guys told her, hey, you bank at WAFED. I'm going to go ahead and get their fraud department on the line, and the three of us are going to communicate. You can give them your account number. We're going to get it taken care of. So they knew that she banked at WAFED because they can find information everywhere. I will tell you that a bank will not work with a third party on your behalf. If someone says, hey, I'm going to contact fraud for you, our bank, every time I get those phone calls, I say, nope, sorry, can't help you, and I hang up the phone. We do not do that. No financial institution does. And if they do, there's probably a new person. But we will not act as or speak to a third party. So what they do is they then get you in touch with your bank's fraud department. They ask for your account number. Again, we'll never do that. They ask for all of your identifying information, your username, your password. And that's it, folks. They got everything, right? So whenever you see that Microsoft alert, it's going to be fraud. Again, if you do question like, oh, maybe this is going to be a concern, don't call the number that they give you. Google it yourself, and you can see the actual number for that. I know I talked to Claudia. She uses the chat bot, like, hey, is this a known scam? And it'll tell you, hey, this is a big scam going around. Utilize your resources, right? So I dealt with a lady, oh man, it was a few months ago. She came in, she was one of our clients, and she was acting real nervous, and she had her phone in her hand. She's like, I need to wire $20,000 out because I'm going to buy Bitcoin, and that's like a big thing, and this is what I'm going to do, and I have all this information, but she wouldn't get off her phone. And that's a red flag to us. When someone is unwilling to get off their phone and they're just really shaky and they're acting really weird. Someone had told this lady, I know where you live, I know who you are, I know your kids, I know your family. If you do not wire this money to me, I will come after you, I will come after them. Don't get off the phone with me. You go into your bank, this is the information you give them, and you keep me on the phone. If you hang up or if you mute or if you call the police, I will come after you. And they are mean, they threaten, and they are convincing. They are so convincing. I am going to safe bet, and say that is fraud. And if you hang up on them, they're not going to come after you. Again, they know your information. You can get people's information on the World Wide Web. You know, you can look up my Facebook or Rodney's Facebook and be like, oh, that's your name, that's who you're married to, oh, this is what you do, where you go, where you live. You can repeat all of that back to me or anyone and say, I'm going to come after them. So things like that are going to be fraud. If you feel uncomfortable hanging up on them, if you go into your bank, signal them, right? We had her come back and she said, I was just too afraid. But you can write a note on a piece of paper and we will help you from there. Because they can't see you writing a note, help, I'm being threatened. They can't see it. they'll tell you I'm right behind you. They'll tell you I'm right outside your bank. Cool, what color shirt am I wearing? Right? They're not. So write a note if you're uncomfortable with what's being presented to you. And the bank will help. They'll pull someone over that can help you from there. Right? You're not going to be in any real danger in a situation like that. But if you do present us with a note, we'll call the police. That'll end the scheme real quick. Okay? So there are ways to navigate through these situations. Does anyone have any questions so far? Yes, Lisa.
It's not a question. I think there's another fraud going around. There's these boys that should come with like an iPad or a laptop to your door, and they act like they're going to save you money on your utilities or your energy bill. And, and they'll even show you like, oh, look, I'm part of P&M, and they'll have P&M's website. I had that. And then they'll want some personal information from you. So I just told them straight up, I don't give out my personal information. Sorry, bye.
Yeah, that's what I would do, Lisa. That's really smart. I don't answer door-to-door stuff like that. I had someone come to my door with an iPad. I think you were gone, but I was pretty much sick on the couch. I wasn't going to move. And I saw them knock on the door with an iPad, and I thought, that's weird. I'm not interested. For situations like that, you are a Christian people. I would use your discernment. Something will tell you that's not right. I can't speak to whether or not P&M is going to do anything like that. I can't. But what I can say is that if it were me and I answered the door, I have a security door. I would not open that. I would not let them gain access to my home. I would not open the door for them to where they could enter in. And I would say, I'm going to contact P&M separately. And if they say, oh, well, it's only going to work through here, that's a lie. Whatever they're offering, P&M can do for you. Again, I can't guarantee that because I don't work for P&M, but anyone who tries to get you into something like that, that's gonna be a fake thing. Yes, Kelly.
Just to add to that, another thing that you should do, and I don't even think it's a thing, but my husband and I always do this. Well, do you have your Albuquerque, City of Albuquerque solicitor's license? And they go, I left it in my car. Or they always have some reason, because they don't have one and they don't know if it exists or not, neither do we. And just a tip, just something.
Interesting. Okay. You can try that on them and see.
I did have another question.
Sure.
When you mentioned earlier that if a bank does reach out to you and they say, is this a fraudulent charge, text yes or no. So we know that you don't click on a link of anything.
We won't provide a link.
But is a replying to a text give them any kind of into your
No.
phone? Okay.
No.
That is safe.
So you're and
Do that.
I don't know what fraud looks like with other banks. I know for us, when our fraud department reaches out, then we say, hey, we want to confirm these purchases with you. Is this fraud, yes or no? We don't supply links. We don't ask for anything. If you reply yes, then we refer you to your local branch. We don't give a link. We don't give a phone number. We say, please visit your local branch to complete the process. Like we hold your card or we freeze it so no fraud can happen, and then we refer you. That's what the process looks like. Yes, I saw your hand, Wyatt.
I just wanted to make sure you were repeating into the mic anything that needed to be repeated.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I was going to just comment on that too. With text messages, if the text message is asking you for personal information, account numbers, anything like that, then it's probably fraud again. If they're asking you yes or no, you're not giving them any information. So I think one of the things to be looking for is, okay, what are they asking me for? Is this something that is personal information that they should already have, or are they just asking me to say yes or no?
Right, exactly. And that is what I had said a little earlier, was pay attention to the information they're asking you for. Like I said, a bank's not going to ask you for your full account number. If we call you, we're not going to do that. We're not going to ask you for a social. We will ask you for the last 4 or 5 digits. We will never ever, ever, I repeat, ever ask you for your online banking username and password. Ever. I have no use for that on the banking level. I can't use that information to look you up in my system. Your username and password, that is unique to you. If a bank asks you for that, hang up the phone. We're not going to do that. Yes?
And also, my son works for the Attorney General in the fraud department.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always call them and ask them, about what's going on or make complaints. And if you think somebody's trying to defraud you a certain way, you can call and tell them, this is what they're doing.
Yeah, so she's saying that you can call the Attorney General's office if you've got questions, complaints, concerns, if you think someone is trying to defraud you. And
Also, will try to help you.
they'll try to help, but it's going to depend on the level of fraud, right? One of the things you can do, some banks offer identity theft protection as a part of their banking package. It might be an additional fee. It probably is. But the reason I recommend this is because let's say you have fraud on an account level, your checking account level, you can file a claim with the bank and we can try to help you get the money back. If we opened a credit card and there was fraud on credit, on a bank level, I cannot help you. Cannot help you. That is Visa or MasterCard, or that is whomever the credit card holder is through. That's a whole other investigation, and there's a really good chance that they won't be able to help you depending on the situation. One of the biggest things that we saw in banking, and this happened to a friend of mine, she went to go buy a house, and she found out that her social security number had been stolen by somebody, turned out to be her mom, who used that to buy a house and defaulted on it. And she's been trying to get that removed from her credit for years. Removing fraud from credit is a nightmare. And they're not super quick to act on it. And even if they get you your money back, it still reports on your credit and it can prevent you from things moving forward. So one of the pieces of advice I would give you is to look into some form of identity theft protection because they offer credit monitoring and reimbursement. Depending on the amounts, there are different levels, but I would definitely look into that. Yes, Lisa.
Also, if you have children, I know for my daughter Selena, someone has got a hold of her social security number, and they used her social security number. We didn't know till we went to go get her state ID, and that's when we found out that someone was using her social security number, which is easy to do because people
Right.
don't have history, but they do have social security numbers, so protecting their identity as well.
Correct. So that's one of those, when you're old enough to do credit monitoring, I think a lot of banks offer that for free. I think mine does, where I currently bank. I take a look at my credit report every month because it tells me if someone has pulled my credit. It tells me if someone's opened credit. And then I do something additional with identity theft protection that my employer offers. So I would take advantage of that if your bank has that because they're going to help against the dark web monitoring. Yes?
You can also freeze all the credit.
You can, but then it's unusable. So even for you, it's unusable. You can unfreeze it at any time, but if someone has your info, then you have to keep it permanently frozen, which can be a real hassle if you're trying to unfreeze it for applying for things. Now wait times are insane, but you do have the option to freeze your credit if you suspect something's going on, but then it's completely unusable until you decide to unfreeze it. Julie handed me this lovely notice. I see these all the time at the bank. It's saying, attention, your property's home warranty, and it gave her property address through Newsenda Credit Union is, it's expiring. Please contact us immediately. She's like, I don't have that through Newsenda. right? We see these all the time. People bring them into WAFED and they're like, tell me what this is. I'm like, oh, that's fraud. If you don't have your mortgage through us, if you don't have a home warranty through us, that's going to be fraud. We don't have anything like that. So if you have a notice that comes in the mail, before you panic, don't call the number on the form. Call the number that you can find online to reach somebody, because chances are this number will take you to someone who's perpetrating the fraud, right? So any notices that tell you something's expiring, just give the local branch a call and see what they have to say. I'm going to leave my business cards up here. Like I said, I'm at UBank in Candelaria. Even if you do not bank with me or my institution, you can send me an email or call me and say, hey, Emily, I got this email. Is that a fraud thing? And I will advise you on what I feel is best. Yes?
Can I say something with emails real quick?
Yeah.
Your banking institution, Amazon, whoever you have accounts with, they know your name. So emails from those different institutions will say, Dear Emily, or Dear Rodney, or Dear Lisa. If you see something that says, Dear valued customer.
Yeah, that's an excellent point made by Rodney. When you have accounts somewhere with Amazon, with Wells Fargo, with Visa, whomever it is, they will address you by name, Dear Rodney, and then they will tell you. Most of the time with these fraud emails, it'll say Dear Customer or Dear Valued Customer. I don't think I've ever had Amazon send me an email where they said Dear Valued Customer, that it wasn't fraud. So that's a really excellent point. Donna.
There's an app that I've been seeing that pops up on Facebook. It's called, I think, Guardian Protection or something like that, to guide you how to protect frauds and stuff. Do you know if that's an accurate or a good app to download to protection by any chance?
I am not familiar with that app. It sounds familiar, Guardian. I feel like, yeah, I'm not familiar with that app. But that's something that you can definitely research. I'm a big fan of please do your research. It's kind of like spouting out facts that you heard from someone who heard from someone else who heard from someone else. Definitely do the research. If you have questions about something that you've received, like I said, I'll leave my business cards up here. You can give me a call and I'll talk to you about it. Bear in mind, I do have a full-time job, right? I have to run a branch, so I'm not able to spend hours on the phone with you. But I am happy to assist you in detecting some of this fraud because I see a fair amount of it. Yeah. Guardian Protection Group is a scam? Okay.
Call the AG.
Okay. Guardio. Okay, so it's different. Yes.
My IQ is a scam. It's on Facebook. They'll try to get you to sign up to do their IQ.
Oh, yes. Yeah, don't click on anything from Facebook or in social media. If there's a site that you really like that gets your attention, go into a separate web browser and type in that information. I don't order anything from Facebook or Instagram, but I look it up in a separate page, and that's why most of the time it's not going to be great. But I have gone to the website separately and placed an order that way, just not from these social media pages. Are you looking up Guardio? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, there's some positives and negatives.
Okay. Well, that's one of those things that you'll just research out. Yes, Mama.
I get a lot of emails constantly telling me that my iCloud storage is full and I need to buy more. And I get them and I get a bunch of stuff like that, or from Norton, you know, the protection for the, I don't have anything, but it sends me saying that it's expiring. And
What?
it's threatening me.
The Norton scam
Yeah.
is threatening, because I know exactly the steps of what they do and how they get it. Do you mind if I come up with
Yeah, it's fun. I did talk about the security thing earlier.
where they hostilely take over your computer?
Yes. Yes. That's a big one, and that money is non.
And they're able to spoof your accounts.
Correct.
Like there's thousands of dollars more in it than there are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Donna. What do you, to see if what is false? Well, it depends on the email or the text that you're getting. You'll have to, I mean, you can Google that and see, read reviews on it, read what people are saying about it. I know that Claudia will use AI to see if, things are a known scam. So those are the resources you'll want to use for that. I'm not going to be completely fluent in apps and whatnot as far as that stuff goes, because I don't use those in my day-to-day recommendations for the people that I see. So that is something you'll want to research out. Yeah. Yes.
Just another tip on Social Security for, let me look around and see anybody here on Social Security and Medicare. But they, even if you're not, they suggest that you look up your account, do your online account, and make sure what activity, if there's people working under your Social Security number, to show up on your work record, and then you can call them right away and report it. So that's something to look at every so often, your Social Security work record, no matter what age you are. And then as far as Medicare for us older folks, Medicare will never call you and ask for your Medicare number. We've gotten that a few times, my husband and I, and they won't. So you just hang up, don't even give them the time of day.
So what Kelly is saying is it's the same thing with banking. Medicare will not call you and ask for your ID number. We're not going to call and ask for specifics. And you said, as far as Social Security goes, to check your work record. Mm-hmm. So go online and get an online account of your work record. It's a little bit of work for you guys, obviously, researching things out, checking your history, but it's completely worth it, because when you do have fraud on your account, the banks, they do launch full investigations on these. And what I see a lot is they'll give you provisional credit, meaning they'll put the money in your account while they research it. But again, because it's not unauthorized, they end up declaring that it's not fraud and they take the money back. So it just depends on the situation. But again, if you have questions on whether or not something is fraud, please give me a call or shoot me an email. Sometimes I'm a little more accessible through email. So if somebody calls you and says they want to verify your identity and they're your bank, what do? Correct. Okay, we'll never do that. If anybody ever asks for your username and password to your online banking, what do? Hang up. Oh, but I want to make a deposit for you because I found this job on Craigslist and I did the work and they FedExed me a check. It's real for me. What do I do with that? So this is what I'm going to recommend. If you find a job on Craigslist and you do the work and they send you a check via FedEx, I would take that to the bank and say, hey, I did this job. They sent me this check. What should I do? We would place it on a big hold until it's probably returned. But you should always let the teller assisting you know what that's about, because we see it so much we can help. Now, what if they send you a check? You honestly did the work, Gary. Whatever it was that you were hired for, you did the work. They sent you the check, but oops, we sent you $5,000 too much. Can you send it back in a Western Union, please? Yeah, your answer should be shred the check, move on. The worst thing is that you lost 40 hours of your life doing the work, but you didn't compromise your account. Because let me tell you, when you deposit a fraudulent check like that, and a lot of them are pretty large, you spend the money. Oh, I got $6,000 in this check. I deposited it. It cleared. I spent it all. That check comes back fraud. What do you think happens to your account? You owe $6,000 plus bank fees. Correct. Return item fees, whatever else is associated with that. And when we see fraud on accounts of large amounts, the bank will automatically force close the account and it gets reported. So Always be mindful. If you were not expecting the check, if you were not expecting the notice, talk to somebody about it, because we see these all the time. If you get the threatening phone calls, write a note and go to your bank and slide it to them, and we will help you. If you have questions or concerns or just want to be clear on something, send me an email. I'll help you. Okay? Yes.
I had one time where my mom lives in Georgia, and she called me in a panic. I was at work because someone had called her and said that they had Joseph,
That's a big one.
that whole thing. And my mom, thank God, called me, and I said, no, I saw him yesterday. So that calmed her down, but that's some of the, they take advantage of the older people with regard to that. And, of course she's going to protect her grandson.
And those are going to be scams. I know the same thing happened with Rodney's grandmother. She had gotten a phone call, saying that her grandson had been kidnapped, and he's like, I'm right here, right? Yeah, literally sitting right next to her. So most of the time, those are going to be fraud. But what they tell you is, don't hang up the phone, or we're going to come after you. Those are intimidation tactics. You want to play it safe. But I have not yet seen an ordinary person get kidnapped for ransom. Typically, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen that. I can't say it doesn't happen. But if they say, go to your bank and keep me on the phone, it's going to be fraud.
Mine, I was on a Mexican holiday and was in a Mexican jail, and they needed $5,000 to bail me out of the Mexican jail.
Right. So these scenarios are, and they, again, guys, they are convincing. The relationships that you build with these people, they are convincing. The notices, this looks like a completely legitimate notice from an institution. They are getting really smart with their schemes. So you have resources. Reach out, ask questions. The number one thing I can tell you is, if it seems too good to be true, it is. When it comes to your finances, if it seems too good to be true, it is. Oops, we gave you $20,000 extra. Who does that? Okay, I'm not saying God can't do that, but I don't think he's going to do it through a fraud scheme. So again, if you have questions, yes?
Is there a government agency that's collecting this kind of data that we can report it to?
The Attorney General, you can send them your information. I'm trying to think. We let our security teams know at the bank, and then they process things accordingly. But I think the Attorney General is probably going to be your best bet. But I mean, it's one of those, like, they're monitoring so much, who knows what happens after that. Yeah. Yeah. So if there are no other questions, like I said, my cards are up here, you guys. I'm happy to help if you have any questions. Yeah.
Hi, so I was wanted for insurance and stuff like that. Is one of them I knew it was before you already told me, but one of the things that they peer pressure you to pay right away and asking you for your information and stuff for insurance.
What kind of insurance?
Progressive.
But is that an insurance company that you use? So if they called you, I would hang up and call the actual customer service number.
That's what I did. And then finding out that they didn't process the claim and stuff, because I asked my insurance Progressive, and they said that no, there was no claim, and so that already showed me that was already a scam going on. So
And sometimes these companies can be pushy, like when they're like, well, you're going to have to pay your medical bills. And I mean, that's a serious thing. They don't mess around with those. They don't use intimidation, right, or force. So that's when I would say I would just hang up and call directly. Look up the number yourself. Yeah. Yes, Pablo.
Okay, the IRS was calling one of my friends and said you owe us some money. The IRS.
The IRS doesn't call you.
They called one of my friends.
Yeah, that's not the IRS. Yeah, they don't call. Right, Wyatt? They don't call. So if that's 100% fraud right there. Yeah? Yeah. Although it's not so nice. But again, you know, yes.
Talking about reporting to government, all that sort of stuff,
IC3.gov is where you can report it.
That's the Internet Crime Complaint Center. It's run by the FBI.
IC3.gov. To report any fraud or not like a claim, but like, yeah, cyber-enabled crimes. So if you feel like you are being scammed, you can report it to them. And that's a good thing because then they can get word out there. But yeah, if you're in doubt, use your resources and we can help.
Last thing, a lot of people are out of work right now from, the government and so forth and so there's a bunch of scams going on with regard to people looking for work
Yeah.
online. So, just kind of help people be aware.
And that goes through like the Craigslist stuff. If you are looking for work, please be mindful of the Craigslist scams. Because in most cases, you're doing the work, or, maybe you sold art and someone sent you a check or something. That's such a big one, is the Craigslist scam.
Of them are asking us to, set up all these new accounts with all these different companies that you apply with.
Oh.
And so you're ending up with multiple new accounts with new companies.
And companies don't tend to do that. They don't require you to open separate accounts. Yeah, that's going to be fraud. Yeah. So again, if you have questions, just shoot me an email or give me a call and I can help with that. Yes.